for joining us on Unity TV for the global news. Today is Friday, 6th October 2023, equivalent to the 21st of Muryar Al'umma 1445 after Hijrah, and these are the headlines. APC kicks as Atiku says only Supreme Court can end his fight with Tinubu. Operation Save Heaven recovers corpse of missing Ardo of Panyam, vowed to bring his killers to justice. Governor Mutfwang vows to complete abandoned projects in Plateau State. On the foreign scene, at least 100 dead in Syria drone attack on cadet graduation ceremony. And to come away in sports, West Ham set new English European record with win over Freiburg. Those were the headlines, and for the details and other stories, my name is Shuaibu Muhammad Duro. The presidential candidate of the People's Democratic Party in the 2023 poll, Atiku Abubakar, on Thursday said he did not betray President Bola Tinubu over the allegation of certificate forgery he leveled against him at the court. Rather, he said the former Lagos State Governor abandoned him as well as the Action Congress of Nigeria and supported Muryar Al'umma of the PDP in the 2007 presidential poll. Atiku also recalled how he saved Tinubu by not allowing former President Olusegun Obasanjo to take over Lagos State in the 2007 general elections. Addressing a press conference in Abuja on Thursday, the former VP vowed not to give up on his quest to prove that Tinubu forged the Chicago State University certificate he submitted to the Independent National Electoral Commission before the polls. Meanwhile, the National Publicity Secretary of the APC, Felix Morka, said the ruling party was not bothered by Atiku's claims, which it said lacked purpose and delivered nothing except the pitiful regurgitation of lies, mindless distortions, and deliberate falsehood on Atiku's infantile obsession with the academic record of the president. The remains of missing Ardo, the Fulani leader of Panyam district of Mangu local government area of Plateau State, Adamu Idris Gabdo, who had gone missing on Sunday, 24th September 2023, has been recovered. Media Information Officer of Operation Save Heaven, Captain Oya James, confirmed the development on Thursday at a press briefing held at OPSH headquarters in Jos, the Plateau State capital. Captain James explained that the OPSH troops who conducted tracking operation in the early hours of Thursday, 5th October 2023, were able to identify and recover the corpse of the missing Fulani leader around Boy along Pangshin Bauchi Road in Tafawa Balewa local government area of Bauchi State.
So the missing Fulani leader, Hado Adamu Idris Gabdo, the Hado Panyam, had been discovered and recovered for burial. The troops conducted the operation in the early hours of today, 5th October 2023, and were able to identify and recover the remains of the body of the missing Hado around Boy along Pangshin Bauchi Road in Tafawa Balewa local government area of Bauchi State.
The Media Information Officer restated the commitment of the Operation Save Heaven to identify and apprehend the culprits and bring them to justice as directed by the Chief of Army Staff.
The investigation will now proceed with a renewed vigor to identify and apprehend those responsible for this heinous crime and quickly bring them to justice, as directed by the Chief of Army Staff.
Captain James also stated that the General Officer commanding 3 Division Nigerian Army and Commander Operation Safe Haven, Major General A.E. Abubakar, while commanding the special operation, extended his condolence to the family and loved ones of Mr. Gabdo. Meanwhile, the state chairman of Miyetti Allah Cattle Breeders Association of Nigeria, Makban, Nuru Abdullahi, said the corpse of the deceased has since been buried in Bauchi State according to Islamic rite.
Today we are in a very big sorrow that we recovered the dead body of Adamu Idris Gabdo, which the dead body is here with us. We have just done the funeral prayers. We are now taking him to the graveyards. So, in a nutshell, we are able to recover the dead body.
He also called on his kinsmen to remain calm and allow law enforcement agencies to carry out their activities as reported by our correspondent, Bashir Musa. Bringing you back to Plateau State, Governor Caleb Mutfwang of Plateau State has directed all the Transition Committee chairmen of the 17 local government areas of the state to take inventory of abandoned projects in their areas for completion. Mutfwang gave the directive at the inauguration of a 10-bed capacity primary health care center in Voi community of Jos South local government area on Thursday. The governor promised to complete all abandoned projects in the state and initiate new ones for the benefit of the citizenry. Mutfwang added that government would work with its primary health care development agency to reposition PHCs in the state to enable them provide quality health services, particularly at the rural areas. The governor assured Plateau people that his administration would be prudent with funds, adding that residents would get value for their commonwealth. The National Institute for Policy and Strategic Studies in Kuru just warned on Thursday that the death penalty for corrupt public officers as suggested in some quarters would not curb corruption in Nigeria. The institution said instead Nigeria should embrace behavior change approaches to reducing graft. The Director General of the NIPSS, Professor Ayo Omotayo, stated this in an interview with journalists during the validation of the curriculum on institutionalizing behavior change approaches to reducing corruption in the public and private sectors in Nigeria in Abuja. According to him, it is not yet time to start executing people for corruption in Nigeria. Founder of the Afe Babalola University in Ado Ekiti, Chief Afe Babalola San, has accused governors of misapplying financial allocations to local governments in their domains. Babalola spoke yesterday in Ado Ekiti, the Ekiti state capital, while declaring open the 8th edition of the Afe Babalola Agricultural Expo. The eminent lawyer expressed dissatisfaction with the way governors run the third tier of government. He said the governors have made the local government the appendages of the state government, thereby rendering them ineffective. Babalola urged President Bola Tinubu to ensure that the nation's 774 local government areas get their allocations directly from the Federation account to ensure grassroots development and engender transparency. After 10 days in captivity, the Benue State Commissioner for Information, Culture and Tourism, Mr. Matthew Abo, has regained his freedom. This was confirmed on Thursday in a statement by the Chief Press Secretary to the Governor of Benue State, Tersu Kula. Recall that Mr. Abo was abducted from his residence in Zaki Biam on Sunday, September 24, 2023, by armed men while with his family members and associates. It was gathered that Mr. Abo's abductors released him in the early hours of Thursday, and he has already reunited with his family, though it was not immediately stated if the 60 million naira ransom demanded by his abductors was paid before his release. However, the statement noted that former chairman of Okum local government area, Mr. Washima Eruka, and his cousin, who it was learned discreetly went to negotiate with the kidnappers and was also kidnapped, are still in custody of the criminal. Many petroleum products depots are currently deserted due to lack of products caused by foreign exchange rate volatility, as the landing cost of premium motor spirit, popularly called petrol, has increased to 720 per litre, oil marketers said on Thursday. Petroleum products dealers also stated that filling stations were shutting down daily in large numbers as it was becoming increasingly tough to run the business. They said this could lead to widespread fuel scarcity in coming months. Speaking at the National Executive Council meeting of the Natural Oil and Gas Suppliers Association of Nigeria in Abuja on Thursday, the national president, Nogasa Bennett Korea, said a lot of depots were presently dried up or out of stock. Korea said the government must therefore urgently come to the aid of the industry as quickly as possible to save it from an impending colossal collapse, which would result in a more devastating blow to the economy at large. The chief executive officer, Petrocam Trading Limited, Patrick Ilo, during an interview session with newsmen, said 52,000 metric tons of petrol imported by the company on Tuesday was already 720 per litre without subsidies. According to him, if the landing cost was already 720, the pump price should be around 729 per litre in Lagos State if the federal government had truly stopped subsidizing the product. The Senate has summoned the Inspector General of Police, Kayode Egbetekun, and the Ministers of Health and FCT, Ali Pate and Nyesom Wike, respectively, over the death of Miss Greatness Olarum Fomi at the Maitama General Hospital last Tuesday. Greatness Olarum Fomi was a victim of one chance criminals. They stabbed and threw her out of the vehicle she boarded along the Maitama and Kubwa Highway. She was immediately rushed to Maitama General Hospital by good Samaritans, but the facility did not attend to her for not providing a police report. Disturbed by the sad development, the Senate, through a motion sponsored by Senator Asuko Ekpenyong, is instructing its committees on health and police to carry out a thorough investigation on Olurum Femi's death and report back in 2 weeks' time. The senators are also insisting that Maitama General Hospital be sued for manslaughter. And that tragic story takes us to the foreign scene. A drone attack on a Syrian military academy in the city of Homs has killed at least 100 people and left dozens injured. The explosive-laden drones targeted a graduation ceremony attended by cadet families, and women and children were among the dead. The army blamed terrorist groups backed by known international forces. Syria's state news agency Suna quoted Health Minister Hassan al-Gabash as saying the strike had injured more than 200 people and that 6 women and 6 children were among the dead. The Syrian Observatory for Human Rights reported that Syria's defense minister attended the graduation ceremony but left minutes before the attack. The UN's special envoy for Syria, Geir Pedersen, described the attack on the academy as horrific and called on all parties to the conflict to exercise the utmost restraint. We'll now look at sports. West Ham set a new English record of 17 consecutive European matches unbeaten with a 2-1 win at Freiburg to maintain their perfect start to this season's Europa League. Nayef Aguat's second half headed winner made it 2 wins from 2 for the Hammers, who sit top of Group A, 3 points clear of the Bundesliga side. Meanwhile, Brighton gave themselves a Europa League lifeline as João Pedro's late penalty completed a comeback from 2 goals down away to Marseille and helped Roberto Zagreb's side avoid a second straight European defeat. In another development, Ryan Gravenberch scored his first goal for Liverpool as the bid Union St. Gillois 2-0 in the Europa League. The summer signing struck just before half-time, slotting in after Trent Alexander-Arnold's shot was parried by Anthony Morris. And that sports story brings us to the end of the news on Unity TV. Thank you very much for staying tuned. My name is Shoaibu Muhammad Doro.